Divided male and female. Female, male, right there in the center is the overall. Anyone notice anything?
Almost exactly the same.
No, I mean, where is it at?
Totally opposite from American target.
Socialism.
Socialism. Ever so, it's not well into here, but it's what you would call left of center. Left of center. Whereas both parties are either right of center or just straight up right wing. So, having said that, let's get started on, or let's finish up political parties. Those of you who printed out the outline, who copied the outline, I didn't put it up last night. I sent out an email and everything. Yeah, getting started on the current coalitions within each party. What is the definition of coalition? An organization of different types, different entities, an organization of different organizations, so to say. That's what a coalition is. A group of. Are you taping? All right. Yeah, and this is important to know. Coalition is basically a group within a party. And if you get this question wrong on the test, don't say I didn't tell you that.
Groups within a party.
Basically, a number. Okay, no, not a group within a party. A number of groups within a party. A number of groups within a party. Different groups within a party that come together to form one, basically. And everything I say is fair game. I'm just letting you know. Those of you who are not taking any notes. Hey, great memory, I guess. The Republican Party coalition, for example. You have social conservatives and economic conservatives. If you remember correctly, what are social conservatives? What's it? Social conservatives are what?
Population.
Huh? A social conservative?
Oh, I'm just messing
Are you thinking of polling? A social conservative is whom? Somebody's got to know this. I'm not going to continue until someone tells me. Social conservatives versus an economic conservative. What is a social conservative? Somebody that what? A conservative? Religious issues. Abortion. Gay marriage. You know what I mean? That's their bread and butter. That's what they talk about. Whereas economic conservatives, fiscal conservatives, what?
Money.
Economic conservative, meaning what is their view on government and business?
Whatever can make them money.
Huh?
Whatever can make them money.
Do they generally want more government and business or less?
Less.
Okay, yeah. True, whatever makes them money, but that usually means less regulations. I have on the outline Rick Santorum, Mitt Romney. Rick Santorum is a social conservative. Mitt Romney is an economic conservative. Mitt Romney plays ball with the social conservatives, therefore he's up here. Santorum plays ball with the fiscal conservatives with their bread and butter. Santorum social, Mitt Romney economic. Now, does anybody, and please tell me yes, know the significance of those two individuals? Thank you. They're running for president of the Republican Party. They're against each other in the primaries. Newt Gingrich kind of siphons off of both of them. He's a fiscal and a social conservative, economic and social conservative. Now, Romney and Santorum are running, and Gingrich are running against each other. Romney and Santorum, most notably in Ohio, had a close race. Okay. These colors The oranges are Romney and the dark greens are Santorum. What do you notice about the oranges for Romney? They're scattered, but they might be smaller, but what does that represent? What type of area does that signify?
Wealthy.
Big cities. Big cities, yes, these are the big cities. Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo. Whereas Santorum won where? Rural areas. But think about the divide between economic conservatives and social conservatives. Why would the cities lean more towards economic conservatives, at least the Republican voters? Why do they lean more towards economic conservatives? Yeah, but it's because of the presence of what in the cities? Businesses.
Wasn't this
What's
poll
left?
like last week?
It was 2 days ago,
Didn't Rick Perry drop out of the race like
a long time
a
ago.
month ago?
Well, you can write in, you
And he
can,
still got 7,400 votes.
it's in Ohio though, doesn't say much. Sorry if anyone is from Ohio, my bad, I love Ohio. But, anyways, businesses that are in the city, what is left, at least in Ohio? What has not been siphoned off since the Depression? Whereas Santorum, he won the rural areas. Rural. Why would he win the rural areas?
Religion.
Social conservatism. Okay, well, what do we talk about when we talk about the Republicans' ascension to power since the Civil Rights Act? The reason why they gained power is what were they able to do with both economic and social conservatives? They were able to do what with them both?
Combine them together.
Fuse them together. Basically, the religious person from the sticks moves to the city, makes some money. Again, social issues, economic issues. He makes money, he or she makes money. They are therefore, quote, wealthy. They are therefore, one of the new elites. So the Republicans look after them. So the suburbs, in urban areas, suburbs. A lot of them voted for Romney. But again, why is this, you say this is a 180 of sorts from that. Whereas the early 80s was the significance of that was the fusion of economic and social conservatives. What does this signify?
Division?
Yeah, this is a expose on the divide within the Republican Party between Santorum and Romney. The danger here is that if Romney if he gets a nomination and he tries too hard to embrace the social conservative issues, what is he going to do with that economically conservative base?
Make them angry.
Alienate them. Whereas Santorum, if he presses too hard on the socially conservative issues, he's going to alienate that economic base. Whereas Newt Gingrich,
Stick a fork in them.
no, he's got more delegates now in this than Romney does, but it's just that he, what's that? He's a bit of a, even more polarizing figure than Santorum and whatnot. He alienates himself from the socially conservative crowd because he's been married 4 times, and he's had multiple affairs. He alienates himself from the economic crowd because he touts social conservative values too much. If that makes sense. It's a mess. Now you go back to 2000. You go back to Democratic Party, social moderates, economic moderates. I put Obama there once. Social moderate, economic moderate. This means what? That Obama is not a liberal. Yes, the L word, 4-letter word in Texas. What is a liberal? Somebody that's more to the left of
To a lot of things.
to a lot of things, basically. My bad. Okay, this is money. Actually, it is pretty funny. This happens when you plug the wrong one in. As I was saying, a liberal
That's to the right of each other.
is not on either side. A liberal is a relative term. If this person's conservative, this person's liberal. This person's more liberal, basically. You know, if this person's liberal, this person can be considered conservative. Conservative is a little more solid than a liberal. A conservative is pretty much far right. A liberal, you know, generally it's this area over here. You go over to this area, that's socialism. A liberal is not a conservative, but yet not a socialist. But the liberal is very hated in certain parts of the country, and sometimes with good reason. No offense to any liberals. The Democratic Party, you have the social moderates, economic moderates. They're not as conservative as, say, Romney or Santorum, but they're not going to take the plunge and take us into socialism, contrary to what a lot of people think. Whereas the Democratic Party also has, Republicans, it's all conservative now. It didn't used to be that way. You used to have a moderate wing in the Republican Party. You got a liberal wing in the Republican Party. Has anyone ever heard the name Rockefeller?
Well, you just-
Good one. I mean, he had to get inspiration from somewhere. The Rockefeller family was an example of them. Mitt Romney, okay, Rick Santorum, what do we learn about social conservatives as far as political participation? A recent phenomenon or an age-old phenomenon? And within the power of nightmares. The evangelists, is it a recent thing or is it been doing it for hundreds of years? Have they been out? It's very recent. Why is that? Because the same evangelicals used to believe that participating in politics compromised their what? Beliefs. Yes, it compromised their beliefs. Tainted them, so to say. Probably did.
Social conservatives?
What's that? Social conservatives, yeah. Evangelicals mainly, they did not want their beliefs compromised by politics. Economic conservatives, on the other hand, less government. Mitt Romney, do you remember when I was showing you the chart last week on the evolution from Republican to Democrat and Democrat to Republican, basically? The North was very Republican. Mitt Romney is somewhat of a throwback to those guys. Fiscal conservative, he's going to play ball with social conservatives to get elected. Fiscal conservative, has anyone heard of the name in history, Henry Cabot Lodge? The Lodge family was a very wealthy Republican family, political family from Massachusetts before the Kennedys. But Massachusetts used to be a Republican hotbed, Boston was. Now it's, you know, a bunch of college students who vote Democrat. But basically, yeah, Romney he's the old school. He's an old school corporate Republican. Very wealthy, very ties to various corporations, and he doesn't hide it at all. He's probably very proud of it. But social conservatives, also in the Democratic Party, as we see on the outline. You see the name Chuck Schumer and Bob Casey. Bob Casey is a senator from Pennsylvania. Bob Casey Jr., that is. He is pro-life. His dad, Bob Casey Sr., was also pro-life. What's the significance of Bob Casey Sr. and his last name, Casey? He's pro-life. Casey v. Planned Parenthood. Yeah. He wanted to overturn the thing. A Democrat. Pro-life Democrat from Pennsylvania. Whereas Chuck Schumer is a social conservative from New York. Why is he a social conservative? Can anyone guess? No, it's not nothing to do with abortions. It has to do with the fact that he gets a lot of campaign donations from interest groups that are in favor, pro-what country? Pro-Israel lobby. Now, I said on left wing that there's really none of them in politics, and there isn't now, because the